back, guys, to another episode of Uncivilized-Investigations. It is January. New year.
New year, same me.
His resolution was to just be himself. Doing good.
Doing my best. Alright, well, today we bring you the story of a missing person, Maura Murray. This is about 21 years old. On February...
Oh, that was rude. Anyway.
Guess you didn't want to listen. On February 9th, 2004, Maura Murray, who was 21 at the time and in nursing school, disappeared after a single vehicle accident near Woodsville, New Hampshire. Maura was born May 4th, 1982, and was the fourth child. She had an older brother, two older sisters, and a younger half-brother after her parents divorced when she was about 6. After the divorce, she lived mostly with her mother. She had graduated from Whitman-Hanson Regional High School, where she was a star athlete on the school's track team. And after graduation, she was accepted into United States Military Academy in West Point, where she studied chemical engineering for 3 semesters before leaving because she didn't feel it was a good fit for her. I don't know if I would have lasted 3 semesters.
Yeah, right?
Like, this isn't for me. Especially at West Point. Like, that's pretty prestigious.
Yeah, I'm sure they're pretty strict, too.
I'm sure they don't make it a pretty easy way to split from them. Maura then transferred to the University of Amherst, and that's when she began studying nursing. November 2003, a few months before she disappeared, she had admitting to using a stolen credit card to make purchases at several local restaurants. The pending charges were continued in the court, and that after 3 months of good behavior, they would be dropped if she cooperated. Basically...
It was pizza, wasn't it?
It was several restaurants.
Oh, okay.
But basically, they were like, you don't have any bad marks, don't do anything bad for 3 months, and it'll go away. She worked as a security guard, and on February 5th, 2004, she was on the phone with her sister, breaking down into tears after having a conversation about her fiancé and their relationship. Clarified that it was her sister and her fiancé.
Gotcha.
Not Maura's fiancé.
But she was the one working as a security guard.
Maura was working as a security guard. I guess they were talking, well, it goes further into what they were talking about. Around 10:30 that evening, her supervisor noticed her at her desk, apparently like zoned out, just kind of sitting there, and still breaking down into tears. Her supervisor tried to confront her and assist, but she was unresponsive in the state until a little after 1 a.m., and at that point the supervisor was able to escort her to her dorm. After reaching her dorm, her supervisor asked what was going on, to which she only said, "My sister," before shutting down again. Like, she was just kind of breaking down and couldn't keep speaking. It wasn't until much later in 2017 when the discussion on the phone call had been made public and learned that it was about her sister who was struggling with alcohol addiction and that had relapsed on the way home from a rehab program because her fiancé had stopped at a liquor store.
Oh, good guy.
Real supportive.
Yeah.
Sunday, February 7th, Maura's father, Fred, came for a visit of the UMass campus. During the investigation after her disappearance, he had told police that he and Maura had gone car shopping that afternoon and then had dinner with one of Maura's friends. After dinner, Maura had dropped her dad off at the hotel he was staying at and borrowed his car to go back to campus and go to a dorm party with more of her friends. Thought that was a little funny. Around 2:30 a.m., Maura left the dorm party and started to go back to the hotel where her dad was staying and crashed into a guardrail along Massachusetts Route 9, which caused about $10,000 to her father's car. Today it would be about $16,000. And I just happened to put his vehicle as a Toyota Corolla. Could you imagine?
Worth $16,000?
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, what could she have
basically
done?
totaled it.
Yeah, why would they fix it? Police had responded to the accident and filed an incident report, but the report does not state if any field sobriety tests had been conducted.
I think it's safe to assume.
I would say. But then again, why would she have been able to go on her way?
That's true.
Speaking from experience, they don't let you do that. After the police were done at the scene, they had arranged for a ride for her back to where her dad was staying. and she remained there for the rest of the evening. Around 4:45 in the morning, phone records show that she had made a phone call to her boyfriend using her father's phone. The next morning, after learning about the damage to his vehicle and that the insurance company would be covering it, her dad had rented a car. He dropped Maura off back at the UMass campus and continued his commute back to Connecticut. Around 11:30 that night, Fred called Maura and told her that she needed to get forms from the registry, which down here it's a DMV, that would need to be filled out for the insurance claims. Monday, February 9th, 2004, around midnight, shortly after getting off the phone with her dad, Maura had used the computer to look up directions from MapQuest to the Berkshires in western Massachusetts and also Burlington, Vermont. I don't know why this is doing it. She hadn't spoken with anyone that day until around 1 o'clock in the afternoon when she emailed her boyfriend, "I love you more, stud. I got your messages, but honestly, I didn't feel like talking too much of anyone. I promised to call you today, though. Love you, Maura."
That's kind of like what you send me at night.
Every day. I don't go missing, though.
Unfortunately. There's still time.
And plenty of time. Waiting 34 years for it. I guess wait another 34. She had also made a phone call to inquire about renting a condo in Bartlett, New Hampshire, where her family had vacationed in the past. The phone call lasted about 3 minutes, and the owner of the condo did not rent the condo to Maura. At 1:13 p.m., a fellow nursing student had called Maura, but the reasons for that call are unknown. Probably just checking in on her. I'm sure that rumor went around with the car accident and all that. At 1:24, Maura emailed a work supervisor of the nursing school facility that she would be out of town for a week due to a death in the family. According to her family, though, no death had taken place. Maura said she would be in contact with the faculty when she returned. At 2:05, Maura called the number to get information on booking hotels in Stowe, Vermont, and that call was about 5 minutes long. At 2:18, she called her boyfriend and left him a message that she promised they would talk later.
So they're long distance, I'm assuming.
I don't know if they're long... There wasn't much information about the boyfriend. I know later it does mention that he flew in after
So they were
the
long
disappearance.
distance.
He could have been visiting family or whatever,
that's true.
But they weren't like... Obviously they weren't attached at the hip. That call was only about a minute. Maura packed her toiletries, college textbooks, and her birth control medication into her car. When her dorm room was later searched by campus police, it was found that most of her belongings were packed away in boxes, and the art and other decorations on the walls had been taken down. It was not clear if she had packed that day, but police believe it had have to have been Sunday night or early Monday morning. The top of the boxes was an email that had been printed out and was between her and her boyfriend, suggesting that there was trouble in the relationship.
So she packed up all of her shit.
She basically packed her dorm and brought her necessities with her in the car.
Like she wasn't planning on coming back.
Well, I mean...
Or coming back for her stuff.
Yeah, if you go through what her email...
Or made it easy for somebody to clean out her dorm.
Around 3:30, Maura had driven her black 1996 sedan off campus after her classes had been canceled that day due to a snowstorm that was coming. At 3:40, Maura withdrew $280 from an ATM and purchased about $40 worth of liquor from a liquor store. It was like beer, wine, a couple bottles, something.
Going to a party.
Which, think about it, $40 today wouldn't even buy you like a bottle. $40 then, you left with a bag. Both of these transactions were witnessed by CCTV. Also, through the footage of her, it was also noted that she was alone. Also, at some point that day, she had picked up the required documents for the insurance from the registry. Between 4 and 5, Maura had left the area of Amherst and is assumed to have traveled north on Interstate 91. She checked her voicemail at 4:37, and that was the last recorded use of her cell phone. There is no indication that she informed anyone of her traveling plans after telling someone she was leaving for a death in the family. Which again, family stated there was no death. 7:27 p.m., a car accident was reported by a resident of Woodsville, New Hampshire. Woodsville, New Hampshire is a small community where two rivers meet. In 2000, the population was 1,081 people, and in 2020, it was reported that it was 1,481 people. So, pretty small community, not likely much crime. If you look at the images of it, though, it's beautiful.
Really?
It's very.
I'm sure I'll see it when I have to search for hours to find pictures.
You're welcome. The resident that had reported the accident heard a loud thump outside her house, and through a window could see a car that was up against a snowbank along Route 112. According to the 911 call log, the caller claimed to have seen a man smoking a cigarette inside the car. However, she later stated it wasn't a man or even a woman, but a dim red light that could have been from a cell phone charger. So from that, I guess my assumption,
an alien. Who knows?
Well, from reading that, I don't think the house was right outside of where the accident was. I think it was down the road. And some of those phone
Curious neighbors. What was that?
Oh, so you. But some phone charger. I know the one in my truck has one of those big ignorant white lights around it.
Oh, mine has a little blue one.
Yeah. So all these different phone chargers, they have different lights and all that. A passing motorist who had lived in the area stopped at the scene to provide assistance. He saw the car and a young woman walking around the vehicle. The motorist was a bus driver by trade. He was able to notice the young woman wasn't bleeding or appearing to be injured, but was cold and shivering. He offered to call for help, but the woman told him that she had already called AAA and pleaded with him not to call the police. AAA has no report of any call being made to them. The bus driver, who knew that the cell phone service in that area was very bad, went along his way and went home and called the police to report the accident and the woman acting suspiciously. His call was received by the sheriff department at 7:43 from his home.
So 20 minutes later.
Yep. From his home, he was unable to see Maura's car, but did see several other cars pass the accident scene before the police arrived. So from that, I think he kind of lived down the road from it a bit. Another local resident says that at 7:37 they saw a police SUV parked front to front to Maura's car and had pulled over briefly but did not see anyone inside or outside of the vehicles and then left. I mean, you figure if they're claiming to see a police car, he wouldn't have stopped to hang out.
Yeah.
This witness's statement conflicts with the official police log, which states that police got on scene 9 minutes later.
Conflicting police reports. Running into that on my other cases.
Well, that's not conflicting. That's just the witness's statement conflicting the police report. The police log states that at 7:46 they arrived on scene, but the driver of the vehicle had left. Both inside the car and area around it, nobody was found. The car had struck a tree on the driver's side and had damaged the headlight, and pushed the radiator into the fan, which made the car inoperable. The windshield was cracked, the airbags had deployed, and the vehicle was locked with still no driver around it. Inside the vehicle were some stains inside and some stains outside. Police found red stains that officers believed to have been red wine. Along with the stains in the vehicle, an empty beer bottle was found, and also a damaged open box of Franzia wine. A AAA card was found that was issued to Maura. Blank incident forms, the ones that she had picked up from the DMV. Gloves, CDs, makeups, jewelry, driving directions to Vermont, Maura's favorite stuffed animal, and a book about mountain climbing were all found in the vehicle. However, the items missing were her debit card, credit card, some of the other bottles of liquor she had purchased, and her cell phone. Since this incident, her cell phone was never located or used since. The area of the road where the incident happened was described as a hairpin turn, and she must have gone off the road and then hit the tree. So I'm assuming the snowbank that they saw was probably pushed up by the tree.
Probably.
Police traced the vehicle back and were able to identify it belonged to Maura. and initially treated the investigation as a missing person. They believed that she had purposely disappeared based on the travel arrangements she had made leading up to this, of which she had told nobody. There were also no signs of foul play that they could find. Between 8 and 9:30, a contractor traveling home claimed to have seen a young person moving quickly on foot on Route 12 about 4 to 5 miles east of where the car was discovered. The passerby noted that the young person was wearing jeans, a dark coat, and lightly colored hoodie. He did not report this sighting to police immediately due to his own confusion of dates, but after going through his paperwork 3 months later, that it was the same evening the accident happened, he saw this person. I thought that was a weird note to make, because if he drove by the accident scene, the vehicles, well, he didn't drive by that, he was 5 miles away.
Yeah.
The responding officer and the bus driver who had stopped drove around the area. The car was trying to find the missing motorist. Before 8 p.m., a fire and EMS truck pulled onto scene to clear it, and at 8:49, a tow company had removed the car from the scene and had discovered a rag from an emergency roadside kit was stuffed into the tailpipe of the Saturn.
That's odd. That's a good way to make a car stall out.
Well, I mean, the car was already dead. The radiator, it would have overheated before it would have stalled out.
Unless it stalled out before she crashed.
Well, it could be. But, yeah.
I don't know. This one's weird.
The responding officer stayed on scene until about 9:30 before leaving. At noon the next day, authorities referred to the case as a missing person after any last confirming sighting of her. Because 3 months later is when the driver mentioned anything. February to June 2004, a BOLO report was issued for Maura. It was basically that time frame. It was just be on lookout. She was reported as wearing a dark coat, jeans, and a black book bag. A voicemail was left on Fred's phone, her father, at 3:20, stating that they had found the vehicle. He was out of state on business and did not receive the call. This was the next day, the phone call.
Okay.
Around 5 p.m., one of her sisters were able to contact the father to tell him the situation. Fred then contacted the Haverhill police and was told that Maura was not reported safe by the following morning of the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department would start a search. Fred arrived back in Haverhill on February 11th, and the family as well as Fish and Game started a search. A tracking dog was brought in and used one of her gloves that was recovered at the accident to get her scent. He followed the scent about 100 yards from where the car was discovered, but then lost the scent. And I think one of the images I saw, it showed the dog followed it up the roadway, not like up the hill or anything.
And then that other driver saw her
4 to 5 miles away, within hour to an hour and a half time frame of.
Which makes sense.
Police brought up the suspicion that she could have left in another vehicle. At 5 p.m., Maura's boyfriend and family arrived. Her boyfriend was interrogated by police before having his parents join him for further questioning. At 7 p.m., police say they believe Maura had come to the area to run away or possibly commit suicide, and her family believed that this was unlikely. In the travel to Haverhill, Maura's boyfriend had turned his phone off on the flight, but after turning it back on, had a voicemail that he believed was Maura sobbing before hanging up. Police traced the call, and it came back to a calling card issued by the Red Cross. And mind you, in 2005...
Oh, so it wasn't from her cell phone.
It was just a call. But
even though her cell phone was still missing.
Well, it was never used after that 4:30, I think it was. 4:37. But mind you, back then there were still payphones and stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
February 12th, Maura's father and boyfriend held a press conference, and the next day the first press coverage had been published. At 3:05 p.m., police put out a report that Maura was potentially heading to the Cancamungus Highway area, and that she was listed as endangered and potentially suicidal. Few details were given, but the police stated she could have been intoxicated, judging from what they had found at the crash site. Although the bus driver, who was the first to pass by her, didn't think she appeared to be impaired. The Haverhill police chief said that their concern was that she was upset and maybe suicidal.
So they're just inventing this whole suicidal thing.
I think they're just trying to...
They've got no grounds to go on.
No. I mean, it's so early that I'm sure they haven't figured out her internet searches and stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing they might have is the school telling her that they left for a death in the family.
Yeah.
A week after Maura had gone missing, her father and boyfriend were interviewed by CNN, and the family had expanded their search into Vermont thinking she could have been traveling there. I should have mentioned this earlier. We're Woodsville, New Hampshire. It's close to the Vermont border.
Gotcha.
Typically, missing person cases are handled through local and state law enforcement. The FBI had joined the search after 10 days. The FBI was interviewing relatives of Maura in Massachusetts. The Haverhill police chief announced that the search was on a national scale. New Hampshire Fish and Game had also conducted a second search using a helicopter with thermal imaging cameras, tracking dogs, and even cadaver dogs. During the search, Maura's sister had found a pair of white women's underwear that were torn and in a snowbank, but through DNA testing they learned it not to belong to Maura. The odds of just finding women's underwear, but whatever. As February ended, police returned the items recovered in the vehicle to Maura's family. On March 2nd, the family left the hotel they were staying at and returned home. Fred, Maura's father, returned every weekend to continue his search for Maura. In April, the police chief of Haverhill told Fred that there had been complaints made about him trespassing on private property during his searching. So he just wasn't giving up.
Oh, no.
Pretty sure he's like, yeah, let me file that away.
Yeah.
In March of 2004, there was another missing person in Vermont that had similarities to Maura's disappearance. However, state police said there were no actual links between the two. That was one of the ones I meant to research, but I didn't. So that's coming.
Okay.
In June, the state police again dismissed the two girls were connected and went further to say that there were no evidence at either scene to determine a crime had been committed. And interestingly, even went as far to say that there is no possibility of a serial killer.
That seems like their mantra right away.
Always.
Yeah.
I just find it weird.
17 bodies, all in a lake? Not a serial killer. No.
They can't be connected.
Couldn't be a serial killer.
They all have a knife in their chest? No, coincidence.
They all drowned at different times in the same
Worst case of suicide they ever saw.
Yeah.
12 stab wounds to the chest.
It was a cult. Rather have a cult than a serial killer.
Want to try this Kool-Aid?
Does it taste like arsenic to you?
July 2004, police had gotten items from the family that they had returned in the spring to do a further forensic analysis. Which I don't know why they wouldn't have done that before turning them back.
So they gave them to the family and then asked for
the
them
family gave them back. I think they initially gave them everything, and then the police...
And they went, oh shit.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit, we gotta search that. On July 13th, a 1-mile search radius was conducted with nearly 100 searchers, including state police, rescue personnel, and volunteers around the crash site.
They waited until July to do that.
This was the first search done without there being snow on the ground. So in case she had dropped anything. Because remember, with the snow on the ground, they tried to search, but the dog made it 100 yards.
But July 13th is the first time there wasn't snow on the ground?
Yeah, that for New
Is
England.
that normal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Again,
why would anybody want to live there?
It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, except for all the white shit.
The main focus was trying to recover the black backpack Maura was suspected of having when she left. After the search, police stated the search discovered nothing conclusive. Again, 5 months had passed, so how surprised can you be?
Yeah.
In late 2004, a man whose brother had lived close to the crash site allegedly gave Maura's father a knife that was rusty. His brother had a criminal past, and the man said after the disappearance, his brother was acting very suspiciously with his girlfriend. Him and his girlfriend both were acting suspicious. Why did I just lose my spot?
After getting the knife.
Interestingly enough, shortly after getting the knife, his brother had also scrapped his Volvo, his car. The man believed that his brother may have used the knife to kill Maura, but other relatives of this man said that he could have made up the story, though, to collect the reward money that he had, because he had a history of drug use.
Meth is a wonderful thing.
In 2005, Fred petitioned the governor of New Hampshire for more help in the search. On February 9, 2005, a service was held on the first anniversary of her disappearance where the car was found. Later in 2005, Fred filed a lawsuit to numerous law enforcement agencies to see the files that they had on the case. Sure, you could attest to trying to get files from the police.
Yeah, that's going so well. So much fun.
On November 1st, 2005, a profile on an online message board called Not Without Peril, which was set up to discuss Maura's disappearance, had made a claim to having seen the backpack.
The black pack.
Jesus. That was similar to Maura's, found behind a public restroom about 30 miles east of where the car was found. Senior Assistant Attorney General stated that the law enforcement was aware of this discovery, but wouldn't disclose whether or not it was collected for forensic testing. Which I just thought that was weird.
Yeah, we know there was a backpack found, and that's all we're going to say on
that. Well,
the
the fact that they weren't even giving the family ideas of what was going on. Because that was how the family found out about the backpack. That'll also make a significance of the online message board.
Gotcha.
It'll make sense why I noted that. In 2006, the New Hampshire League of Investigators, which was compiled of 10 retired police officers and detectives, started to work on the case. I think they did this as like a volunteer thing.
Seems that way.
A member of the league says that it appears that this is something beyond a mere missing persons case. Something ominous could have happened here. October 26th, volunteers led a 2-day search within a few miles of where her car was found. In the closet of a house that they had searched, about a mile from the crash site, a cadaver dog went bonkers, possibly identifying human remains, or the trace of human remains. This was the house of the man that was implicated by his brother, but he no longer lived there. Searchers took a sample of the carpet and sent it to New Hampshire State Police to be tested. The results were not made public.
Of course not.
Another search of this area was made in 2008. In 2007, a group from Arkansas named Let's Bring Them Home put up a $75,000 reward for information that would lead to solving this case. But in 2009, her cold case was put on the cold case list and was assigned to the newly formed cold case unit in New Hampshire. 2010, Fred went public with his criticism of law enforcement in this case and for it being treated not of a missing persons and less of a criminal matter, and was requesting the FBI to provide more assistance. On the 10th anniversary in 2014, Jeffrey Streslin, the Associated Attorney General, stated, "We haven't had any credible sightings since the night she went missing. Fred was reported to believe that Maura was dead and had been abducted that night," which makes more sense than not.
Yeah.
February 2019, Fred publicly reiterated his belief that Maura was dead and also his suspicions to the nearby house that the cadaver dogs had alerted, saying, cadaver dogs had alerted at and said, "That's my daughter, I do believe." In April, excavations had started at the basement of the house, now that new owners would allow searches to be done, whereas the previous owners refused. The excavation turned up nothing other than what appeared to be a piece of old pottery or piping. In 2021, the tree that Maura's car crashed into was cut down by the property owners. The family requested the state to have a historical marker be put in its place, but the requests were denied. I kind of see that, though, because, I mean, I get it's historical, it's significant, but it's significant to them. September 14, 2021, the state police announced that bone fragments had been found on Loon Mountain in Lincoln, New Hampshire, about 25 miles away of the crash. According to her sister, Maura had been to that mountain before. The bone fragments were small and were expected to take about 2 months to do testing to determine if they belonged to Maura or not. November of that year, it was announced that those bone fragments did not match. Again, bone fragments are found everywhere.
Yeah, right?
Everywhere.
Every case, it's we were looking for this person, but we found these bones. We'll get to that.
January 2022, the FBI put a national alert on Maura's case, which created a violent criminal apprehension profile and allowed multiple law enforcement agencies to share information about the case. Which I think is funny that they have to do like some sort of special permission.
That they can't just share it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
why they don't just do that to begin with. July 2022, law enforcement agencies in New Hampshire conducted searches in the towns of Landaff and Easton. That was based off of whatever clues they might have found. With no new information or leads in 2024, officials released an age progression of Maura, hoping for new information. There are theories that Maura may have traveled to this area and purposely vanished due to her fear of her pending charges on the credit card fraud and how they could hinder her from getting employment as a nurse in other fields of healthcare.
But that was all going away.
See, I think she was on the tail end of it going away, because November she had 3 months. So come the end of February, unless she was continuing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Other theories is that she was murdered by someone she knew, and this was staged, although that is unlikely.
Because the bus driver dude saw her there, right? He confirmed it was her?
Yeah, but for somebody else to stage it and not leave anything behind.
Yeah,
that's
plus the fact that the bus driver saw her there.
Unless somebody was like following her, but nobody knew where she was going either. Her father, Fred, still believes that she was abducted and killed. When Maura went missing was considered the birth of social media, and Facebook was only 5 days old. With the new age of social media, this was in the spotlight online and prompted many online forums of online detectives providing their insight into what happened. Her disappearance is considered the first crime mystery of the social media age. That's why I put in the thing about the message boards. Her disappearance is considered... in 2021, Maura's sister Julie started a TikTok account with hopes of bringing awareness to her sister's disappearance. She regularly posts any updates, evidence, and tributes to her sisters that were made by others.
So what do you think?
I think she purposely went missing.
I'm stuck with... I think she was planning on purposely going missing, and then something happened to her.
Yeah, I mean, the dog's only going 100 yards up the road and then losing its scent. Somebody picked her up.
Yeah, but the other guy saw her like 5 miles up the road.
Unless she was dropped off.
So,
I mean, she was killed, I believe, but...
And I feel like if she was running away just because of those charges, by now she would have reached back out to her dad. They seem to be pretty close. He was buying her a car.
But that was weird because growing up, she lived primarily with her mom.
Oh.
And there wasn't very much mention of her mom in this investigation.
At all.
I think because Fred took more of the charging force behind it, so I don't think it was for her mother's lack of trying.
I think she planned on disappearing. That's why she packed up all her stuff in her dorm.
Mm-hmm.
So that whoever had to come clean it out, it was easy. They didn't have to actually pack anything. They just had to carry boxes out.
Move it out.
But then I think she was drunk and she crashed her car and somebody picked her up. And I kind of want to know how they established it was red wine in the snow. Was somebody like, oh, look at that red liquid?
Well, I think
that's wine.
I think if you put blood in the snow, it would be like a deep red. I think wine, it's more of like a very faint.
I'm just picturing a cop like taste testing it. Nope, that's blood. Shit.
We're going to have to fill a paperwork out on this one, damn it.
But yeah, I think she planned on disappearing at least for a while, and then something tragic happened to her.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she was planning on suicide by any means.
I don't either. Nothing says suicide. Well, packing her stuff up could say suicide, but I feel like if she did suicide, they'd have found her. She wouldn't have disappeared to the point where
you're not ever found.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I do believe that she was drunk, which probably caused her to crash her car.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of that,
maybe she panicked after that and tried to run away, and somebody abducted her. Because that's her second car in, what, 3-4 days?
Yeah. I'm not even that bad.
She wasn't batting 1,000 in the driving department.
Or, I mean, we could both be wrong. She could have been drunk. Somebody picked her up to help her out, and she freaked out and jumped out of a dude's truck 5 miles away.
That's true.
And just went off to wherever.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't any mention about if they had searched around where that contractor had supposedly spotted her. Again, 3 months
3 months after the fact. All right, well, that's our case for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're enjoying what we're doing, like, subscribe,
comment, let us know.
Yeah, definitely comment. We've gotten fairly decent.
We're doing pretty well.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well. Keep subscribing, keep liking,
keep watching.
To us. Discord, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all of it. Follow us. You'll see our shorts up there all the time. And if there's something you want us to do, drop us a message. I am looking into one Bring Norma Home that one of our subscribers sent to me. It's her mother-in-law. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Pretty sure it's her mother-in-law went missing from, I believe, Philly. Again, sorry if I got that wrong. I just started looking into it. But yeah, looking into that to see if there's enough that we can actually do an episode on it. I'm sure we'll find something.
Yeah, if we have to, we'll make something out of it.
Yep.
Anything you submit to us that you want to see us cover, we'll make sure we do our best to cover it.
Yep.
Whether it's 10 minutes or an hour.
Little side note, something that we're following is the remains found in Flying Hills. Did you see that?
Yeah, didn't they confirm to be that Trayvell Martin?
They haven't confirmed yet. But that's the second set found. There was another set found in April, I believe.
Okay, because I remember when...
But yeah, they're saying they think it's him, but they don't understand that area was searched. They don't understand how he went from not being there to, surprise, here I am a couple years later.
Yeah, because I remember...
Months later.
Well, it was almost a year ago.
A year ago, yeah.
It was because when I was going to work one morning, I was driving by and I saw the police lights.
Yeah, so I'm keeping an eye on that to see if that's episode worthy or not. But other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
See you next